from the creators of Relevant Magazine. This is the Relevant Podcast.
November 15th, 2019. You're listening to the Relevant Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Huckabee, and over there in our Orlando, Florida studios, we have our producer making sure that everything goes according to plan, Chandler Strang.
Hello. And I will report behind the scenes, we are already in the ditch, and Chandler did nothing to prevent that.
Well, that's what we have a fail-safe. We have a fail-safe there. If Chandler loses control, then we have a steady hand right by the wheel to grab it and arrest us back onto the road. That would be my friend John David Harris. Hey, JD.
Greetings.
And out there in Loveland, Virginia, completely useless to the staying on the road process, who can't do anything, who can only watch in horror as things go into the ditch, from Loveland, Virginia, Jesse Carey.
No guardrail can handle me. Hello. I plow right through them, right into deep ditches.
Oh, we got a good one today. We the man, the myth, the legend, N.T. Wright is going to be joining us to talk about his brand new book, The New Testament in Its World, an introduction to the history, literature, and theology of the first Christians. We talk about this a lot on this podcast. I know this comes up a lot. I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but whenever you get to interview somebody who's got that British accent working for him, he's N.T. Wright. He's a smart guy. He doesn't need
He's
the
a
accent.
scholar at Oxford. Yeah.
He's not. This is just a grace note. But he wouldn't have to be. He could just be some guy we pulled out of a gutter in Leeds, and I would still be like, oh my god, that's a really good point.
That book is massive too. Have you it's enormous. It's like a textbook. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's big.
He's written like 7 or 8 phone books worth of scholarly writings on Jesus in the New Testament. You know, it would be funny though, because like the casual listener probably doesn't know like what N.T. Wright sounds like just off the top of their head. They may have heard interviews, but they probably don't have. It's not like Ira Glass in their head or something, you know. If we got a random British guy and we're like, hey, we got N.T. Wright on the show today. Like, how many people would even notice?
We couldn't get N.T. Wright, but maybe we could just get if we just flew over there really fast or just went to some sort of exchange program, just be like, here, just read this.
Yeah, Richard Archibald's on the show today. Yeah, reading, portraying N.T. Wright. Good show. You caught this.
I watched, maybe you might have seen this scrolling through Netflix, The King. Last night, I started The King, Timothy Chalamet,
and that looks like
and all those guys.
It's an ode to medieval movies and really big swing haircuts. Like
that is it. Like,
can we take
wigs, haircuts and wigs?
Can we take some of the most attractive talent that we have on planet Earth right now? There's some of the most attractive people to put on a movie screen, and can we give them hair so terrible that they are actually repulsive, and then do like catapults that shoot flaming balls and make the movie like 3 hours, and that's The King. That was the pitch.
I think that's literally the pitch. Yeah. That was the pitch.
There's the elevator pitch. Okay,
that was the attraction. That was the attraction. It's like when Charlize Theron did her like got ugly for Monster a few years ago. That was her big like swing for an Oscar. But this one, they didn't even have to. They're just like, here, just put this wig on and go. Don't think about it. Don't think.
Imagine the guy from Twilight dressed up as Ellie Fanning. Like, just
I do.
Just give him the Rachel.
I do. There are two. Speaking of Netflix, though, you brought something to my attention that, you know, right now the world's going crazy for, and I think we're going to talk about it a little bit in the hot list for Disney Plus, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's the crazy sweep in the nation.
I'm assuming have all you guys downloaded Disney Plus?
Yes,
I do have Disney
Chandler,
Plus.
Are you a streaming guy, or do you watch all your stuff on like pirated BitTorrent sites that, you know, originate like Eastern Europe? What's your strategy for watching stuff?
I have Prime and HBO. And that's it.
Okay. So
modest.
So the Disney Plus is dropping this week, and what does Netflix do? They're like, well, everyone's going to bail. What is the big gun we can bring out and try to save some of these subscribers. What are we going to put on? Because the king isn't flying. The haircut idea is not keeping people. That was an odd decision.
Great on paper.
It looked great on paper. It was only the budget was a mere $175 million. It was a swing and a miss. What can we do to keep people from going and watching The Mandalorian, Endgame, and The New Lady and the Tramp? What can we do? And Tyler, you brought to my attention that as of what I can assume is pretty recently,
I think so,
now available on Netflix is the Nicolas Cage version of the film Left Behind. And
oh man,
what
a coup. A coup in the streaming wars.
Yeah, exactly. Amazon, Apple, all of them were making a bid. Somehow Netflix landed this masterpiece of apocalypse films, which it like gave me an idea, because I know that like PureFlix is sort of like the Christian Netflix or the Christian streaming service. Yeah. They have like a lot of original programming and like family friendly films. I think we need an all apocalypse streaming service.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like
because there's definitely enough there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And they wouldn't have to be Christian, but they could be. There's probably enough Christian end times between the Thief in the Night movies, the multiple Left Behind movies, because they rebooted
Tribulation
reboot,
Force
of course.
Movies.
And then you got like there's like Omega Code. There were a bunch of off-brand ones back in the day,
and it wasn't quite like D-list, but it was just above D. They got like Gary Busey and Howie Mandel to like star, and like literally those two actually star in some of these.
There's always a Baldwin brother in all of them.
Like not like an Alec though.
No,
I mean, we're below Steven. We're actually below Steven.
It's like a something Alec. Baldwin, but I can't remember their first name.
Yeah.
What do you think the Baldwin Thanksgiving is going to be like this year? What do those guys talk about? Because they have
now Bieber's in the mix.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Now Bieber's in the family.
It's a very diverse array. It's about as diverse an array of wealthy white people as you could get around a table, because the Baldwins are all over the map in terms of their like spiritual and political and cultural leanings. You've got Steven, who kind of holds down, keeps PureFlix in business.
And they're all like a few degrees off of how sufferable they are. Or insufferability like is pretty close on some of them. Especially, I'm not a big Alec fan, but
I do think that in terms of like getting the new Left Behind movie, this is definitely like a Napoleon at Waterloo move for the streaming wars. It's the reason I've considered for the first time since I got it, being like, do I really need Netflix? Like, does Netflix really bring much? But I can't let go. If I know it's got the Nick Cage Left Behind, it's there waiting for me anytime I want to.
We all grew up somewhat similarly in that we were all to some degree exposed to Christian end time cinema.
Sure.
And so my question to you guys is, what is your favorite moment from an apocalypse movie? Chandler, I want to start with you because I'm sure you had to watch at least one of these at some point.
I mean, not really.
You never had to watch one?
No.
Oh.
No.
I had
shocking.
to watch it at my Christian, I think it was probably like in junior high, and we watched the old Thief of the Night movies, like the ones from like the 70s.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I was like watching McGee and Me and stuff like that. Like I wasn't.
And they never made it. They never made it End Times with McGee and Me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It was way more
They
lighthearted.
could always
like McGee gets raptured, but the kid gets left behind. And it ends. The episode ends with them dragging McGee to the guillotine, the forces of the Antichrist.
That would be my answer for sure to your question, Jesse. The guillotine moment in the Thief in the.
It was the most theologically perplexing. They do this long movie. So it's this, for people who haven't seen it, it's Thief in the Night, and I'm sure it's available somewhere, if you can find it on YouTube. But the whole premise is that it's like a literal telling of the rapture and the end of days as told in Revelation. But for some reason, Like, there are several scenes of mass executions, and it has the most theologically confusing ending of any movie I've ever seen, because one of the protagonists, spoiler alert, by the way, like, I'm pretty sure this movie has been out for almost 40 years or 45 years, but the protagonist, who has been faithfully, like, she's got left behind, obviously, but she refused to take the mark and is trying to do the right thing and make it through the apocalypse and find, soul redemption. And and she's refused to take the mark of the beast. As the blade is falling on her, for some reason, the filmmakers made the decision to have her scream, "I'll take the mark!" And the blade falls and it's too late.
That's it.
And it's like, what am I supposed to do with this?
There was that's the inverse of a hero's journey.
Yeah,
it's like the complete
does
opposite.
does that mean she basically got the mark? Is Grace going to intervene? Like, she was technically martyred.
She got the worst of every world. Not only did she apostatize at the end of her life, not only did she refuse the grace of Jesus, she also got beheaded.
Yeah.
A lose situation for our hero. I don't remember. And it was a guillotine. Like, they tried to do as much as they could at the time. Like, it was very modern. They had tanks rolling in the streets. It was a limited budget. There weren't tanks. There may have been a Jeep or something like that, but there was no reason to assume that they would have reverted all of a sudden to Revolution era France methods of execution. But in this movie, that's what they did.
I actually have a theory about the Netflix Left Behind relationship.
Oh, okay.
I think it's actually something that's very meta that Netflix is saying, with everybody leaving to go over to Disney Plus. The only people that are
people are getting
left
raptured off the Netflix
behind
service
are there to watch Netflix. And I think they're trying to do like a little inside baseball joke to be like, thank you all for staying here. Now you're going to suffer through 7 years of tribulation while we figure out our Nickelodeon plan.
With a movie that feels at least 7 years long.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
There's going to be 3.5 hours of good movie and then 3.5 hours of really bad movie that are part of this tribulation process of Netflix.
There are some tribulation, like, straight up deep cuts, though. There's one, and I wrote about this for the site a long time ago. Maybe I'll reshare the article on social when the pod comes out. That is from the 70s, and it's called "If Footmen Tire You, What Will Horses Do?" Which is the raddest name.
Most metal title.
And the filmmaker was like an exploitation filmmaker. Like, he did like straight up like old grindhouse movies.
Okay.
He did a movie called The Monster and the Stripper. Right. And so
one of those kinds of guys.
And he was a roller derby entrepreneur, but he survived 2 plane crashes and decide, maybe God's trying to tell me something. I will use my talents now to bring people to him. And he created "If Footmen Tire You, What Will Horses Do?" It is like, it's on YouTube, the whole thing. And it is the most graphically violent end times revelation movie I've ever seen. But it's very similar to the plot of, like, have you guys ever seen the Chuck Norris movie Invasion USA?
Oh, I don't think I have.
I missed that one.
In both of these films, the end times is ushered in by a random army from, like, Cuba or whatever country in the 70s.
Red Dawn-esque, maybe.
Yeah, but literally, they take over by just storming a beach. Like, literally, people are just hanging out at a random beach, and boats from Cuba just drive, and they just start they just run onto the beach and start indiscriminately shooting everyone. And that's all it takes to take over the whole world. It's just literally, they just storm the beach and just keep coming, and all of a sudden they've taken over and they've ushered in the apocalypse.
Once you get Huntington, the rest of America can't be too far behind.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's like in Florida. It's like St. Augustine, Clearwater has fallen. You know, they've captured Tallahassee. We surrender. No, but we need a streaming service to collect all of these films, I think. And I think that's the only true alternative to Disney Plus and all that. So,
Jesse, I want to ask one question here. I'm looking at the rundown. and you've dropped in a talking point, and I don't know of a natural way to bring this up. So I'm just going to say so it just says, ask Jesse about his hotel trap.
I'm glad you brought this up.
I would assume that was your addition.
I don't know. Chandler, did you put that in there? Did you hear about what happened to me?
Yeah, I was curious. I had a feeling.
Good. A lot of people are buzzing about it. That's
We're
why.
already off the rails. So why bother?
Yeah,
Jesse,
we're already deep in the ditch. I mean,
what can you tell me
wheels.
about your hotel trap?
So I'm minding my own business the other day. I'm doing my thing, doing some work, probably prepping a podcast. And I get an email confirmation, and it's from a major hotel chain. I'm not going to say which one, but it's not like, it's if the spectrum is, Hilton on one end and La Quinta Inn, on the other, it's closer to the La Quinta Inn side. I won't give away the name of the hotel chain, notifying me that it is a confirmation that a room has been booked in my name for the upcoming weekend. For a hotel in North Phoenix, Arizona. Okay. I have never been to Phoenix. I don't know anyone in Phoenix, but for somehow a room had been booked to the name Jesse Carey to a hotel in North Phoenix. And it can't be a mistake because it came to my email. Like it couldn't, there's no other to my, work email address. And so I'm like, well, maybe there's like a junket or like an interview or something. Like maybe Jess on our team, somebody booked this for me because maybe I'm traveling to Phoenix.
Like a nice thing. Maybe just a surprise gift.
Yeah, a trip to Phoenix for it could have been like, oh, you didn't realize you had to go out there and
this time of year in North Phoenix.
Sure,
we booked that interview with that guy who sounds
Rob Bell's out there in Phoenix.
Here's this British guy. He sounds like NT Wright. We figured you could talk to him. He's in North Phoenix this weekend. Sit down for a continental breakfast. And so I looked at the details of the room. Here's what was creepy about it. Okay. It's a room and they made a specific request that it has 2 queen beds. Okay. So that makes it even creepier because that's not like someone just wants to go treat me to a room. That's like someone wants to go, stay in this room with me. Guys, I was so conflicted about what to do. Like the right thing to do is call the hotel and say, obviously there's been a mix up here. The other thing to do is to immediately go and look how much it would cost to fly to Phoenix, check into this room and just sit on one of those queen beds and see who walks through that door in a couple hours. Because somebody booked it.
You have to do it No Country style where like you have Josh Brolin sitting there with the gun in hand because anybody could come through that door.
Yeah, take a seat.
Exactly. It could be, this could be an ambush.
But why would somebody do that? It feels to me like a trap. They're like, I know how we can trap Jesse. We'll book him a stay in a nice hotel. Any logical person would be like, well, I don't know who booked this, and I don't know why I'm traveling to this city, but I'm not going to turn this down. Do
you think it's possible that your podcast persona, in which you talk quite a bit about how often you say yes to things, how you're kind of open to what the universe brings?
This is a test.
Do you think this is finally caught up to your enemies? And
this is about as far
they're putting
as
it to the test.
This is about the limit of because I like interacting with strangers. I like taking people up on weird experiences, but getting randomly booked a hotel room in a city very far away with 2 beds for 2 nights.
Other side of the country, yeah.
I'm sure if I checked into that room, whatever would have happened last weekend would be a fantastic story. But the downside is I could also be dead and shoved in one of those queen size mattresses. So I did not take it, but I do. JD, I feel like you're a man of the world. You know. Do you think this was a trap? Do you think somebody just set the bait and was waiting for me to check in?
I kind of hope so, because I think that's like a great trap to set. The only thing is I wish they would have just done it somewhere slightly closer to home. To make it actually if you were really trying to trap somebody, I don't know if North Phoenix is the place to trap somebody. Like if
it was in Virginia Beach, would you have gone?
I probably would have if it was because I could just drive over there and be like, all right, well, I guess we got a room tonight.
Yeah.
I don't know who's staying with me, but I heard great things about the the Sheridan renovation. I don't know what the motivation was. I can only assume someone in Phoenix was trying to murder me. And so maybe I should call them back. Maybe I should, see if, maybe, how about this, guys? If I get another hotel reservation for another city booked in my name, I will give you my word. I will travel there and check into that room and just see what happens.
JD, would you do it, JD? If it was in Orlando, if it was in the Orlando area, JD, would you have gone?
I might have. It honestly would. I'm kind of a lazy fellow. So it would depend. Like if I had nothing else going on and I was like, okay. And it also depends on the kind of hotel. Like if this was like a Disney resort, absolutely. I'd be there living it up. But if it was like some cheap chain hotel at the end of I Drive, I think I'd just let them have it. But I think there's more to this. I think you could totally like prank the hotel now because you technically stayed there. So you could call and make up the most audacious claims to like the front desk people and
man,
like
he's got a good point.
Really just like live
That's
this
very
up.
true.
You're like, I am Jesse Carey. I know that there was mayonnaise in between the sheets of these beds and just like go to town on like freaking these people out.
What recourse would they have? Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
What could they do?
What could they
How
do?
would
What could
they
say?
prove you wrong?
It feels like
And
a
it's
trap.
kind of their fault for accepting the fake Jesse into their arms, So
yeah.
I say all's fair.
Yeah. It's like, maybe this is too gross. I try to avoid bathroom humor, but it felt like an obvious trap. It's like I've walked into like a bathroom one time at like a public restroom and the stall door was open and someone had already prepped the seat with toilet paper. And you're like, who did that and left? Why did they leave? That's a trap. That is a trap if I've ever seen one. Evacuate this. Get out of here, everyone. Someone set a trap in the bathroom. Why would they do that and leave? It makes no sense. You
feel kind of like Jason Bourne or John Wick, where you can just tell that one thing is off, and you're like,
yeah,
he's already,
get out of here. Gotta get out. Someone prep the seat.
Your men are already dead.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure NT Wright would be thrilled with this.
Yeah. If you're sticking with for NT Wright, you've got a long way to go.
The world's foremost New Testament scholar. Fans, you had to sit through that. It'll be another few minutes.
We're not even close yet. We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, the hot list. Listening to Shaking. It's by Hazel English. Beginning of the podcast, you heard Warm by Stevan. Okay, it's time for...
It's the hot list. The hot list. It's sizzling.
Coming in at number 5 this week, Ben Affleck is back. He's going to star in a redemptive new sports movie called The Way Back. The actor is teaming up again with filmmaker Gavin O'Connor, best known for movies including Miracle, Warrior, and The Accountant. Like Warrior, The Way Back is a sports movie, but it's also one about faith and overcoming addiction. Here's the official synopsis. Jack Cunningham, played by Affleck, once had a life filled with promise. In high school, he was a basketball phenom and a full university scholarship when suddenly, for reasons unknown, he walked away from the game, forfeiting his future. Now, years later, Jack is spiraling down, triggered by an unspeakable loss and drowning in the alcoholism that cost him his marriage and any hope for a better life. When he is asked to coach basketball team at his alma mater, which has fallen far since his glory days, he reluctantly accepts, surprising no one more than himself. As the boys start to come together as a team and win, Jack may have finally found a reason to confront the demons that have derailed him. But will it be enough to fill the void, heal the deep wounds of his past, and set him on the road to redemption? We'll see when the movie comes out in March. Here's a clip of that trailer set to Bon Iver's Heavenly Father.
What's going on with you? What's new?
Not much.
Hate the idea of you down there by yourself all the time. Just drinking.
I'm fine. I appreciate it. But I'm fine. Ever since I heard the howling wind.
And I suppose you're wondering why I called you over here.
I didn't need to go where a Bible went.
Our basketball coach had a heart attack the other night. We need a new coach, Jack.
And you know your gifts seem heaven sent.
Is the team any good?
No. The last time we made the playoffs, back when you were playing.
Let's go, line up.
Man, this movie has everything. This is like if they had a focus group that consisted of me, and they're just like, all right, we're going to make a movie. And I'm like, all right. And I just tell, and they're like, we're going to make a movie. We're just going to have a trailer. I'm like, we'll have a Bon Iver song that has spiritual themes to it, and it's going to get my hook in there. Now, get a big star who's in the movie on his ropes, and for some reason, he's getting recruited for a job by a priest in a confession booth in the trailer. Okay, I'm in. He's drinking beer in the shower. This guy's obviously seen better days. Oh, this looks like a ragtag bunch. These kids, they haven't won. This kid missed, 35 threes last year. He haven't made the playoffs since Ben Affleck was in high school. They're terrible. They're a laughing stock. That's the setup. And it's the perfect setup, even though we've seen this movie 1,000 times. Like either with like a ragtag football team or that Keanu Reeves movie where he has a court order. He's got to go coach baseball, Little League, We've seen this movie and I don't care. And I love it. Give me this movie. Give me some burnout, middle-aged guy who's forced to coach kids at sports who are terrible at sports and, a bad news bears type of situation while conquering his own demons. Or give me a heist movie. Those are the two I'm in no matter what. Like you're telling me there's a gang that's getting back together, one more heist, and it's impossible, and there's a snitch, and there's a wild card, and something goes wrong through the heist. I'm in that movie too. Those are the two movies. I'm going to see every single one of them.
Jesse, you've got I know you played quite a few sports.
That's right.
When you were in high school, you're an athlete. I'm curious because I didn't. I'm curious because in this trailer there's a moment in which Ben Affleck asks one of the players for his new team, his kind of ragtag, his motley crew of basketball players, how many threes he said, and he says he's missed some like crazy number. And I think Affleck responds like, "Well, no wonder nobody's covering you." Is that something that because that sounds that is like verbal abuse. That is a cruel thing for someone to say to. But do coaches do this?
I mean,
no wonder our schools are falling apart.
From my experience, I never had a nice coach ever. They were all mean jerks, and they would all say terrible things to the players all the time. That was just the style, especially when I don't know if it's still like that these days. I don't know if coaches get away with it, but I mean, them making fun of your poor shooting percentage was. I mean, you would welcome that, because coaches can get very personal. I don't know. See, I don't know what flies anymore, but maybe this trailer's right where Ben Affleck can go really tear these kids down before building them back up. But I've thought about a lot if I'm in Ben Affleck's scenario. Let's say my old high school just calls me out of the blue and says, "You're not going to believe it. The basketball coach had a heart attack last night. He's dead." Okay, we booked a room for you in North Phoenix. It's an away game. You need to get out there. Will you take the job? And I would call the office and be like, "Look, guys, this is the opportunity of a lifetime. My old high school wants me to come coach, and they haven't won a game since I've been there. And I am in my mid-30s right now. I would take the job immediately. And the first thing I would do, I would get in the gym with the team, and my arms crossed. I'm just staring at them all, looking them in the eyes. 2 of them I cut right there. 2. They're off the team. The other ones, I kick open the gym door, and I'm like, "There's the door. Who wants it?" And I get the ball, and I just throw it. And I kick it and I leave and into practice. First day, they know coach is a live wire. The thing is, in all these movies, you got to tear these kids down before you build them up. I don't know if I make it past the tearing down stage. That's my only problem. I think they're all going to leave before I can build them back up. But I know the trajectory of these films. You have to tear them down first, So anyway, I'm excited. I'm excited for this. This is a movie right up my alley.
This is interesting because that one was really dialed in. That was some prime Jesse Carey content there at number 5.
Perfect.
Number 4 We've got some prime Tyler Huckabee content. I hope we got one for JD and Chandler coming up here. But coming in number 4 this week, you can now watch the old X-Men episode where Wolverine becomes a Christian on Disney Plus. This is one of my favorite. There's a column over at the Cut called I Think About This a Lot, where they bring up old like pop culture moments and people just write essays on why they think about them all the time. This would be my entry. This episode would be my entry into I Think About This all the time. So the 90s X-Men TV show, now available in its entirety on Disney Plus's new streaming service, features an episode in which Wolverine becomes a Christian after a series of lengthy, in-depth spiritual conversations with his fellow X-Man Nightcrawler. In the first episode of season 4, titled Nightcrawler, it follows Wolverine, Rogue, and Gambit on a ski trip to Germany. It gets waylaid when the 3 take up shelter in a German monastery where they meet the pious Kurt Wagner, a mutant whose conventionally demonic appearance has driven him from society, while his saintly demeanor chuffs Wolverine's trademark grouchiness. Throughout the episode, it's truly astonishing how in-depth this cartoon is willing to go into thorny theology, with Wolverine refusing to believe in a god who could let bad things happen to good people, while Nightcrawler strikes a distinctly Augustinian posture of trusting God's higher ways. God gave up on us a long time ago, Wolverine snarls. God does not give up on his children, Nightcrawler says. He is there for us in times of joy and when we are in pain, if we let him. Here's a clip.
No, he's right. So all people are flawed and all struggle with a capacity for sin. None likes to be reminded of our shared human
Chandler,
weakness.
is this the NT Wright interview? Did you cue that up earlier?
Easy.
Don't it make you crazy?
I must have gotten the clips
But
mixed
then I
up.
found
I
peace
see.
by devoting my life to God. He directed me to this place where they value the character of my heart, not my appearance.
What are you talking about? We're mutants. God gave up on us a long time ago.
No, my friend. God does not give up on his children, human or mutant. He is there for us in our times of joy and to help us when we are in pain, if we let him.
Don't give me that easy answer garbage. I've tried.
Later in the episode, Nightcrawler gives Wolverine a Bible that he's marked up, and while Wolverine accepts it only reluctantly, Rogue later spies him praying Isaiah 12:1 in a church in Paris. This was really peak Tyler when I was a little kid. This was really something special because I had finally something to share with my folks. Like if they needed to know, like, I don't know, there's lots of violence in those X-Men cartoons. They're always solving their problems by punching each other. And then you can show them this and like, look, not only are they quoting the Bible, talking about theology that nobody in my Sunday school was talking about. They were digging into these sorts of questions, but they even have a little sinner's prayer there at the end to for anybody who's still watching. I would love to interview Dreamtime Pie in the Sky interview request. I want to find the writer for this episode and figure out what was going on at the offices of Fox at the time.
Hey, I want to find out too, and I'll probably go back and watch Disney Plus, because what I think is more even interesting than the presentation of the gospel in this episode of the X-Men now on Disney Plus is that the season 4 season premiere, the whole plot line was about a ski trip. Like the X-Men are just hanging out and they're like, guys, man, fighting Magneto and all these bad guys for 3 whole seasons. We need a break. Who's down for some skiing? Like is there a scene where the X-Men are just like on the slopes just for the fun of it? Like
the opening scene, you can just watch them just up and down some like cat twos.
See, that's like, it's like they've run out of plot lines. Like there are no more bad guys. This is just they go on vacation to a ski resort. It's like those old TGIF episodes where Urkel and the gang go to Disney World and watch the Indiana Jones thing. And every episode that that TGIF is at Disney World. Like they just run out of stuff. And now the X-Men are skiing. Like the whole plot line is, well, they get in an argument on a ski trip. Like it really kind of grinds to a halt by season 4,
You also you kind of have to bank on for a lot of these superhero shows not asking questions about money, because these people are extremely busy. They have a lot going on. They have to be flying all over the world solving crime. We don't know who is footing the bill for all this. Batman, we know he's got money. Tony Stark, we know he's got some money, but the rest of them, we don't know what the vacation time is. We don't know what the benefits package looks like. We definitely don't know who they called to get the ski resort set up in the X-Men mansion.
Yeah. It's okay. Professor X is like, you guys aren't going to believe this. I went to a very compelling presentation and somebody just bought into a timeshare at a ski resort. Who's with me? 2 weekends a year. Pack it up, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Jesse, we've covered your prime content. Sports movies with washed up heroes getting another shot of redemption.
Yeah.
We covered mine.
Yelling at children in the process. Correct.
Covered mine. Superheroes on vacation where they discover God in the unlikeliest of places. Overseas. Now, JD, we come to something that I know is near and dear to your heart. That I know this is prime John David Harris content. Number 3 this week, Jeopardy featured an incredibly moving moment this week. So the Jeopardy game show obviously isn't usually known for tugging at the old heartstrings, but the last few months of longtime host Alex Trebek's frank discussion of his battle with a bleak cancer diagnosis have lent the show an extra level of pathos. And on Monday, that extra level got the usually even-keeled Trebek to choke up a little, and it might do the same for you. Here's a clip in case you missed it.
Groove, you're smiling. I like that. Let's take a look at your response. Did you come up with the right one? No? What is "We love you" out? That's very kind of you. Thank you. Cost you $19.95. You're left with $5. Okay.
Man, I can't even listen to this clip without like getting kind of choked up. Alex Trebek,
it was really sweet.
And he's someone who I feel like if you're of a certain age, it's been in your life, even if it's just on the kind of outskirts of it, you've had an awareness of him pretty much your whole life. Like I can never remember a time where, I didn't know who Alex Trebek was. It's really,
sure.
His diagnosis is really devastating, but that was such a, moving little nod to him,
And it was a $2,000 like little "I love you" card, basically.
No, see, that's the thing. That's the thing that actually frustrates me about it is like, it is sweet and it is kind. It's this great moment. But at the same time, like, the guy kept $5. Like, he knows he was going to lose.
I have to assume he didn't, he just had no clue what the answer was.
But he bid $19.95. You're going to give Alex Trebek this moving, closing moment, but you're going to keep $5 for yourself? I don't know. That feels a little selfish.
It's a sweet moment, JD. It's a sweet. I thought this was this is your prime content.
No, I've always been confused as to why it's now socially acceptable. Like, I grew up Jeopardy was for nerds and all this stuff, and it was whatever. It wasn't my thing or not, but I had no idea that it was all of a sudden this cool thing for people to just hang out at home and watch Jeopardy.
It's had a cultural renaissance.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's a crazy thing.
It's on Netflix now, so you can just it's pretty bingeable content. It's just it's in the background. You can fold laundry.
I guess
it doesn't take a lot from you.
Yeah, it's great if you're hanging out with your significant other or some friends, if you're the one who gets the most answers that night, because you can lord that over them for days. Hey, Chandler, I don't know if you remember watching. Do you tell the guys what happened when we were watching Jeopardy the other night? Man, I got 8. Chandler got he kind of got one, but I think the judge probably would have ruled against it because he mispronounced the name. But man, I got 8. I think I could be in the circle of Chandler. I think I could really practice. It's, getting Jeopardy answers is an excellent thing to lord over people.
Well, coming at number 2 this week, the new Invisible Man promises timely terror in the Me Too era. Okay, so H.G. Wells' The Invisible Man created a classic horror story by exploring the ways being able to get away with anything might torpedo someone's moral code. That premise, inventive at the time, got dulled by repetition, but it gets a timely update from Lee Wannell in an adaptation set to land next year. This week, we got our first look. This one stars Elizabeth Moss as a woman being stalked by an abusive ex who can't be seen. By rendering the Invisible Man as a metaphor for gaslighting, Wannell finds a way to ground this horror trope in a distressingly timely fashion, exploring the ways women are doubted, dismissed, and made to feel crazy for telling the truth. That makes for the sort of grounded, thoughtful terror that's come to define the horror genre in our era of prestige horror, in which movies use fear to illuminate societal ills. The Invisible Man stars Harriet Dyer, Storm Reed, and Aldous Hodge. It will release in February. I'm really excited about this movie. It does look very, very scary. There was an Invisible Man movie that was in the works just a couple of years ago starring Johnny Depp, and that kind of got tanked with the rest of the like Dark Universe franchise. Yeah. And now obviously Johnny Depp doesn't make a whole lot of sense with some of the allegations that have come out about him and Amber Heard. So updating it like this based on the trailer, which is very scary, a little violent, but it's a really thoughtful, creative way to update that story for now.
Yeah, that's the great thing about, like, as you kind of alluded to in your description there, is the modern horror movement is really good at creating interesting metaphors for social anxieties. Like, I think when you look at, we went through that big string of like zombie films and The Walking Dead and things like that. But ultimately, all of those have the same question at the heart of them. Who's the actual monsters here? Like literally zombified corpses that eat flesh? Or are the real monsters people willing to do terrible things to other people to survive and for self-preservation? Like, it's asking a really interesting question, for example, the Christian apocalypse movies. Those are not metaphors. That's literally a guillotine being operated by the forces of the Antichrist. There's nothing to read into. That's literally what's happening. I don't know why she yelled, why she wanted the mark. I don't know.
And coming in at number 1 this week, Super Bowl hero Nick Foles preached about faith, perseverance, and against the prosperity gospel at a press conference this week. So the journeyman quarterback became an unlikely sports hero when he led the Philadelphia Eagles to a Super Bowl victory over the New England Patriots in 2018 after entering the playoffs as a backup. This year, in his first game of the season, he suffered a brutal broken clavicle injury, hasn't played since. However, as he plans on returning to the field this week, he addressed reporters and decided to talk about perseverance through trials. Here's a clip.
Right when I felt this thing break and I was going into the locker room, I just realized, God, this wasn't exactly what I was thinking when I came to Jacksonville. Obviously, you come here and you want to create a culture and impact people. But at the end of the day, I was like, God, this is the journey you want me to go on. I'm going to glorify you in every action, good or bad. And, I still could have joy in an injury. And that's people hear that and say, that's crazy. But it's like when you believe in Jesus and you go out there and you play, and that changes your heart. And you only understand it when, that purpose in your life, just like when I hoisted the Lombardi trophy. The reason I'm smiling is my faith was in Christ. In that moment, I realized I didn't need that trophy to define who I was because it was already in Christ. And that's my message when I play. Same thing happens when I get injured. We tend to make this so much about us as human beings. We tend to make it about us as athletes. It's not about us. It really isn't. And if you make it about yourself, you're probably going to go home at night, lay your head on your pillow, and be very alone and very sad. And then hopefully someday you can find that purpose in your life, because my purpose isn't football, it's impacting people. And my ministry happens to be the locker room. And I've been able still to get to know people, get to know these guys through an injury. Though I might not be playing, that is difficult from a fleshly perspective, but from the spiritual perspective, from my heart, I've been able to grow as a human being to where I feel like I'm in a better situation here as a person than I was before because of the trial I just went under. And I know that's a sermon in itself, but that's how I go through life. And the good Lord's been there to, it's not always about prosperity. I don't believe in the prosperity gospel. I believe if you read the Word of God and you understand it, there's trials along the way, but they equip your heart to be who you are. So
I'm a big Nick Foles fan. I just think he's a great dude. And I think it's great that he launches literally into like a 5-minute sermon when someone's like, how do you feel about coming back this week, Nick? Well, I'm glad you said something about that, because let me tell you about the prosperity gospel. He's talked about becoming a pastor after he retires from football. It sounds like it's not going to be too hard of a transition.
No, it sounds right up his alley. He's definitely got the and hey, anybody out there who's willing to talk down the prosperity gospel right now in 2019 got my vote. It's kind of a hot take anymore, but it's a good one. All right, well, that'll do it for
It's the hot list. The hot list. It's just...
We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, NT Wright joins us. listening to Runner by Tennis. Today's featured interview is brought to you by Squarespace. Whether you need a clean landing page, a beautiful gallery, a professional blog, or even an appealing online store, it's all possible with Squarespace. They have award-winning templates, customizable settings, and of course, powerful e-commerce tools. And right now, Squarespace is offering Relevant Daily listeners a special deal. They head over to squarespace.com/relevant for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch your site, use the offer code RELEVANT to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain at squarespace.com/relevant. Well, N.T. Wright is, of course, a renowned Bible scholar, a retired Anglican bishop, and is currently a senior research fellow at Oxford University. He is the author of dozens of books, including his latest, The New Testament and Its World, An Introduction to the History, Literature, and Theology of the First Christians. I recently got to speak with N.T. Wright a little bit about this book and how he feels about people using the Bible in today's modern context and ways we can get better at that. Here's my conversation with Dr. N.T. Wright. So I want to start by just getting an overview of this book. You've written a lot of books. What was it about this one that made you decide, like, this is the book I want to write now?
Well, it kind of grew. I think it was originally mooted about 10 years ago. And it's basically because now that I'm very long in the tooth and semi-retired and so on, I'm looking back over the work that I've done over many years and thinking, well, actually, I can't rely on first-year undergraduate students or seminarians reading every single book that I've written, but if I were to boil it down and present it in an attractive and usable format, then it might just be something that my colleagues who teach first-year students might find very handy, both to introduce them to the New Testament and, of course, as an extra bonus, as it were, to introduce them to my larger books, which I've hinted at throughout this book. And I think people seem to have responded well to that so far.
So help me understand, people like to use the Bible, particularly Paul's letters, to comment on contemporary social issues. Let's just take one obvious example from the States right now with immigration. There's Bible verses that talk about immigration in a variety of ways. People like to use these verses to help fortify their own personal beliefs about immigration. But sometimes to do that, you have to sort of extrapolate these verses out of the context of the ancient world. How can we be more intelligent with the way that we use the Bible to talk about modern social issues?
That's a really important question. We face exactly the same question in Britain right now, with different political parties squaring off in the upcoming election and in relation to Brexit and so on. And we've had large-scale immigration for a long time, and it's often been a cause célèbre, and different politicians have taken different views, etc. Now, in the middle of that, right throughout Scripture, Israel in the Old Testament is called to welcome the stranger, is called to be hospitable. You've got things like the story of the book of Ruth and so on, which are worked examples of how somebody can come in from the outside and become a valued and highly valued and cherished member of Israel's national story. And the early church was constantly aiming to welcome people of all sorts. Jesus said, many will come from east and west and sit down at table with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now, the question is, how does that, which is a Christian imperative, and that's how church life ought to be lived, how does that translate into public policy in any given country? And of course, in the ancient world, they didn't have countries like we do. They did have rough borders, but countries tended to be one or two big cities with the hinterland around, with very porous borders all over. I mean, the Middle East wasn't divided into countries in the way we know it now, and most of the world wasn't. That's a very modern idea that we have countries with boundaries and with customs posts as we now know. And so trying then to say what is wise for this country, granted our resources, granted our healthcare system, granted our schooling, etc., is it wise to let 2 million people into our small country, I'm thinking of Britain, into our small country every year and just expect the health service, etc., to absorb them? And if that isn't wise, what criteria are we going to use? And other countries like, say, Australia and New Zealand, which I know a bit, and obviously they're all British colonies, they have developed policies for saying we are not excluding everybody, but we want to be wise in terms of what will help them and what will help us. And those are questions that Christians could take a view on. But in the middle of it, the church ought to say, as far as we're concerned, anyone who names the name of Christ is welcome, not just welcome, but encouraged to come and share the table with us. And this is the great imperative of Galatians 2 itself, is that all those who name the name of Jesus belong at the same table, whatever their background, social, gender, etc., etc. And if only the Western churches themselves, Catholic, Protestant, charismatic, liberal, whatever, if only they had realized that over the last 400 years, we would be in a better position then to speak to our governments about what it might look like to have a wise immigration policy today. But you're quite right. You can't read it straight off out of the New Testament, because that simply isn't a question which is being addressed any more than is, say, the question of fossil fuels or the question of pollution or the question of all sorts of issues like that, which are questions that arise out of the Industrial Revolution, which, of course, was completely unknown in the ancient world.
One last question for you before we have to go. It seems to me that a lot of times when we talk about the early church, the first century church, there is a level of thrill and excitement in some of those early days because it was so countercultural, it was so revolutionary, whereas today so much of the church is identified with the status quo. Is it possible for us to sort of recapture that early spark that was so exciting for the church at the time? And if so, how do we do that?
It is and it isn't. And I know people who work in churches which do have some of that zip and that sparkle about them. But of course, any church that does that will sooner or later face the second generation question. I was preaching at a big church in Chicago, you probably know Willow Creek, a few years ago. And one of the leaders there said to me, of course, we've been going 25, 30 years now, and we're facing the question of the second generation. How do you do the transition into the second generation? And he said, we're actually thinking about things like liturgy, which we've not really worried about before. And my response was, I come from a church which is multi-generations and lots of liturgy, but we don't have all the life and the zip that you have. So maybe we can do a deal and actually learn from one another here. And I think there should be a lot more sharing between different types of churches. And maybe with more militant secularism, we need to do more of that anyway. But I think as well, we shouldn't play up the New Testament experience too much. If you read between the lines in Acts, and if you read the lines themselves in Paul, there are all sorts of problems. And one of the liveliest churches that he's got, namely Corinth, my goodness, they gave him a headache. And so it isn't all, oh, they had such a good time then, and how come we have such a dreary time now? In Acts, there are times when Paul is in real trouble. And in 2 Corinthians, he talks about a time when he experienced such a crushing time that he despaired of life itself. And this doesn't sound like the zip and the bounce that we often imagine. And I think, God gives to different churches and different Christians what they need at the time. And sometimes what we most need is that wonderful phrase of a long obedience, just being prepared to put one foot in front of another and to wait for God to give the times of refreshment or exuberance or whatever, which may not come as often as we would like. But as I've often said to people with the relation to guidance, but this goes for spiritual experience in general, you get the guidance you need when you need it, which is usually a bit later than you wanted it. And that's because part of what we have to learn is patience. Goodness, God has so much patience with us, and I'm jolly glad he does, because I need him to have a lot of patience with me. But we need to be patient as well, and not assume that because everything isn't quite as bouncy as we thought it might be, it's all gone horribly wrong.
That was N.T. Wright. Next up, our listener of the week.
I'm in love with a waterfall, born in the seas on the 4th of July.
You're listening to July 4th by Elliot Moss. All right, it's time for our listener of the week. This is the part of the show where we call up one of you, because you sent us some interesting facts about yourself online, and some stories you want to tell us, and we hear all about those stories. Jesse, who do we have this week?
This week we have Heather, and I'm very excited for Heather to be on with us. I'll get to her facts in a minute, but Heather did something interesting that we'll get to, but she kind of did a trade-off. She gave two interesting facts, but then she asked for some advice from JD because Heather has a paranormal situation on her hands. So
I'm here for it.
I want to get to that. But first, welcome to the show, Heather.
Hi.
Heather, where are you calling us from?
Bowling Green, Ohio.
Bowling Green, Ohio. A very haunted and paranormal place.
Yes.
I
know it well. I know it well.
Heather, what do you do there in Bowling Green?
I am a college student.
What are you? Have you decided your major, or are you studying anything in particular?
I am really unknown. I'm a psychology major, just confused.
It's not too late to switch over to parapsychology. I just want to throw that out there. It is not too late.
Well, hold on. Why, Heather? Before we dig in your questions, maybe we can help you. Why are you confused about your major? Is it you're second guessing yourself, or you consider another field? What makes you a confused psychology major, Heather?
Man, I don't know what I want to do.
Hey, trust me, that doesn't stop when you get out of college.
Yeah. Watch out. You could end up on a podcast.
You could, 15 years could go by from the day of your graduation. You're like, what have I done with my life other than record 900 hours of insane ranting on a podcast? So the psychology degree, I would stick with that, or else you might be in one of our shoes.
You're on a way better track right now than anybody on this podcast.
It sounds like you're professional actually make a healthy contribution to society, and you won't mainly be known for falling out of a bunk bed onto someone. Okay, so Heather, I want to jump to before we get to your facts. Explain to JD. We're going to let you and JD handle this one. That you need his paranormal advice. What have you gotten yourself into there, Heather?
I should actually preface this. I'm a young life leader, and I hang out with not college kids, high school kids all the time. Okay. And one time, so there's this street where I'm from. It's called Holcomb Woods. Totally basic, haunted thing that everyone says is haunted. Been there, I'm not kidding you, hundreds of times. But one night, almost exactly a year ago around Halloween, these high school kids are like, please take me to this woods. So I was like, yeah, I guess. I know their parents pretty well, so they're good with it. So I take them, we go through it, nothing happens, super boring. It's a woods right in the middle of the road, quarter-mile road each side, woods right in the middle. The road goes right through it. Super weird.
Can I ask one quick question? Is it nighttime?
Yeah, it's Halloween night. Yeah.
It's night.
Okay.
It's 11 o'clock. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing happens. We go through it. They're like, that was boring. I was like, I know, I'm really sorry. Let's do it again. So we turn around and go the other way. But for some reason, when we go the other way, I'm joking to him about this time we tried to leave my friend there and he freaked out. I'm just telling the story, not paying attention. And in the middle of the road, this is so hard to explain. It's just one white light in the middle of the road. And I slam on my brakes. Everybody starts screaming. It's so hard to explain. Maybe the size of a basketball.
Oh, it's an orb. It
stopped and then flew into the woods. Okay,
what?
So every time I've ever tried to Google about it, I can't find anything, and it's so hard to explain. And I'm I just backed up all the way down the road, in the left, and then it was silence in the car. I was like, "Did you guys see that?" And one of the girls was like, "No, you guys just started screaming." I freaked out. I was like, "Okay, maybe it's in my head." And then the other girl was like, "But did you see the white light?" I was like, "Oh my goodness." I have no idea what it was. It couldn't have been a headlight because there's only one. It was close to the ground. And it flew. I don't know. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Okay.
This is a fantastic story.
This is great. This is good fodder. So I think, what the naysayers would accuse this of is they would say that you had an encounter with what they call ball lightning, which is a very rare case of lightning that can appear, but I'm willing to guess it probably wasn't a bunch of storms going on. Probably not a lot of electrical activity, right?
No storm at all.
Exactly.
Eerily calm night, as a matter of fact.
Exactly. So the term in the biz is that you were witness to an orb, and the orbs. It's either the theories are either that it is some sort of energy transference, some sort of collected energy source or cycle that manifests itself in a fourth dimensional space. And so a lot of people say that it's connected with ghost activity or something. We couldn't totally, I mean, you're in an area of the woods that has supposedly seen other paranormal activity and stuff. So like, I don't necessarily want to fully rule out the idea that it could be some sort of atmospheric anomaly that's localized to that place that people have diagnosed as something paranormal, but maybe it's actually fairly normal, just
or
not
somebody with a
not
flashlight
something
trying to freak you guys out.
Right, right. Flashlights could happen. But typically, they kind of like, it kind of just floats. Yeah. Did it float? I don't want to lead you. I don't want to lead the witness here, but like, it's just kind of so like I
said, it was like a couple feet off the ground.
Yeah,
like
just
pretty
like
low, but like not high.
Right, and it kind of bounces its way off into the distance, right, before you don't see it anymore.
It like low key. No, that's what's weird. It like shot into the woods and then like disappeared.
Yeah,
wow.
I think what we have here is the plot for the first horror offering from Pure Flix Films. This Halloween, this harvest season.
Yeah.
One young life leader,
instead of taking her kids to the trunk or treat, decided to take her into the heart of the haunted wood
for a dance with the dark side.
Yeah.
I would watch that.
It sounds terrifying. I'm assuming you haven't been back there, Heather.
Yeah. So I would say
no. We go back all the time.
Oh boy, no. See, that's what I was going to say. Step number one,
kicking the hornet's nest.
Yeah,
you're kicking the
step number one is just great, cool. You found something weird. Don't go there anymore. I think that's
I would not go, trying to befriend the creepy light ball that you found out in the haunted woods with your young life. Okay.
Let's just say the orbs aren't all Casper, and the only ghost that you want hanging around is the Holy Ghost. So
you want him. Invite him next time. Invite him
next time.
Amen.
All right, Heather, you've given us two more very interesting. Obviously, I was going to be more interesting than that because it was a fantastic story.
Right.
Okay, Heather. You had a professor, I'm assuming this is one of your psychology professors, actually try to sue you. Maybe that's why you're reconsidering your degree. Why did a professor try to sue you?
Okay, so this lady asked me to dog sit for her.
Okay.
Oh.
So I did. She was leaving the country or something. I don't know. I didn't even know her very well. But so I'm dog sitting for her. The dogs were pretty good. It was for 2 weeks. I'm not kidding, the last day. They got into something, tore up a bunch of papers and all of this lady's workout DVDs.
Workout DVDs?
I was oh no. So she gets home and I'm telling her, yeah, this happened in the room, the carpet, all that. She's oh, it's fine. I showed her. A couple weeks later, I get a letter in the mail with the receipts to each of these workout DVDs. She's I need you to repay me. We can set up a payment plan or else I will take you to court.
Is this before or after the orb? Because there might be a curse on your hands. I'm just saying.
I think you invited the orb in, and that I don't think the dogs had anything to do with those workout DVDs getting messed up.
Yeah,
that sounds like the work of an evil orb to me.
Yeah, that is a poltergeisting orb for sure.
So did you Heather, in this situation, did you lawyer up? Did you get an attorney to come in and tell them that you're not liable for these workout DVDs? What happened? What was the outcome?
I never actually ended up contacting her again. My legal advice was to ignore her. I think it's all settled now.
Well, Heather, I want to, as someone who has found themselves in numerous legal predicaments, I have found that the best strategy is to do what you've done. Ignore it and just pretend it doesn't happen. And if you get served, throw it right into the garbage can and pretend you never ruined all those workout DVDs. All right, finally, Heather, your childhood nemesis is now the main character of a Disney Channel show. Oh man, who you've already angered a professor who has no guidance for their workouts anymore because their DVDs are destroyed. You have angered a multi-dimensional orb from another time and place, and now you've angered a beloved Disney Channel star. Heather, what happened? Why was this person your nemesis, and what show are they on?
They're on a show. It's called Bunked. It's a spinoff of Jessie. Okay. I don't know if you're familiar with Disney Channel shows.
I just got the app. I just got Disney Plus. I'll check it out right when we get off.
Yeah, we'll get it.
Should be on Disney Plus. It's on Disney. It's like it airs. It's like new episodes come out now. She moved to LA when we were in like middle school, but in elementary school, I don't even know why we hated each other, but like every recess, we knew at some point we were gonna like argue and like low-key bully each other. I don't know, like just fight it out verbally. And like it happened every single recess for like years. And then one day, like she just didn't show up to recess. And like she never came back. I like didn't know where she went. She moved to LA, and then eventually, like now she's in this show.
It sounds like your daily verbal sparring matches eventually drove this individual to move from Bowling Green, to pack up her workout DVDs and get out of town. And you know what? It worked out. It worked out just fine for her. So I wouldn't feel too bad about all those verbal beatdowns from back in the day. Sounds like it's worked out okay. And aside from this snafu and the legal trouble you find yourself in with these workout DVDs, it sounds like you're doing pretty well. And I think you're going to be a great psychologist one day, Heather. Heather, we thank you for joining us, and thank you for being a young life leader. That's a really awesome thing to do.
Yeah, it is really cool.
So when I'm traumatizing kids, with ghosts. So
Heather,
thanks a lot, Heather.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Man. When people start talking about the lawsuits on here, I get really nervous because I don't. Do you know what I mean?
Who keeps
we
receipts?
have enough legal trouble.
First off, who owns workout DVDs? Right? I mean, who owns DVDs at all? I don't even have a device I can play it. I literally looked for a device in my house I could play a DVD. I'm like, I gotta go buy I don't even know what you buy.
You gotta go check it out of the library or something.
Exactly. I mean, I don't even think they sell DVD players at Best Buy anymore. I don't even know where you. But who has I know exactly where the receipts for those old workout DVDs are. Let me go fetch them and I'll tell you how much you owe me. Who keeps that stuff?
Scam.
Hey, you know what?
Nice
Jesse,
try.
this might be one of your traps. Another one of your traps.
Exactly.
Like
Same
when you're watching somebody's place and all of a sudden you see a bunch of scattered workout DVDs. Trap! Get out!
It's a grift.
They're going to charge me for those. those P90X DVDs. Hands off! Yeah.
Well, I think that'll probably do it for us. Hey, if you want to be our listener of the week, all you got to do is do what Heather did. Get on our Relevant Podcast on Twitter. Send us a direct message. Send us 3 interesting facts about yourself, things that have a story with them. And if you have a paranormal issue, if you got a problem and you don't know who to call, you don't know who to turn to, we got a man, JD in the house right here, is ready to serve kind of your like Ghostbusters, X-Files, I don't even know, The Conjuring.
Yeah,
there's a little career in this for you, JD.
Yeah,
People do this.
Yeah. I mean, I should have been a Catholic, so I could have just been an exorcist. But that
would have been cool.
Yeah,
that ship have sailed.
I think. Listen, Relevant Podcast. We are now handling all of your paranormal / legal needs, and if you have a legal paranormal problem, maybe the ghost of a lawyer is coming after you. That's a different show. I'm afraid that's a different podcast. You're going to find someone else because that's out of our pay grade. So.
Well, hey, many thanks to N.T. Wright for joining us. The New Testament and Its World, An Introduction to the History, Literature, and Theology of the First Christians is out now. Also, many thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring that conversation. Head over to squarespace.com/relevant for a free trial. When you're ready to launch your site, use the offer code RELEVANT to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain, squarespace.com/relevant. Also, as long as you're over on our Apple Podcast page, maybe subscribe to Relevant Daily. That's where I join me and Clark, to take you through some of the top stories at the intersection of faith and culture every week. It's just a 10-minute podcast where we give you the quick breakdown. And I think with that, we will wrap it up. I'm Tyler Huckabee.
I'm Chandler Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm John David Harris.
We'll see you next time. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the Relevant Podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to leave us a review on iTunes. Check out other shows from the Relevant Podcast Network in the podcast section at relevantmagazine.com. And while you're there, browse exclusive podcast merchandise at our online store. Make sure to subscribe to Relevant Magazine. Info is available at relevantmagazine.com/subscribe.
care, everyone. Someone set a trap in the bathroom.
Relevant Podcast Network.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care.
Go to Dutch.com to get vet care that is always there for just $92 a year.